Have you ever stopped to think about how many amazing stories are in the Bible? Stories almost nobody knows? In today's quiz, we're going to reveal some cool facts that'll surprise you. But heads up, only the sharp ones get everything right. Subscribe now and hit the bell, because here the challenges are daily and always packed with eye-opening truths. Who was the Phoenician queen who influenced King Ahab to promote Baal worship in Israel? A. Jezebel. B. Deborah. C. Hannah. D. Abigail. Correct answer. A. Jezebel. Verse. Ahab son of Omri did more evil in the eyes of the Lord than any of those before him. He not only considered it trivial to commit the sins of Jeroboam son of Nebat, but he also married Jezebel daughter of Ethbaal king of the Sidonians, and began to serve Baal and worship him. 1 Kings 16 verses 30 to 31. Jezebel, a Phoenician princess, married King Ahab and brought Baal worship with her, introducing idolatrous and immoral practices to Israel. Her influence was devastating for the people's faith, stirring God's anger and sparking the prophet's opposition, like Elijah. This story shows the danger of idolatry and bad influences in leadership. Who was confirmed as the prophet Elijah's successor after a miraculous event? A. Jeremiah. B. Elisha. C. Isaiah. D. Amos. Correct answer. B. Elisha. Verse. When the disciples who were watching saw him go up to heaven in a whirlwind, they exclaimed, "The spirit of Elijah rests on Elisha." 2 Kings 2 verse 15. Elisha was confirmed as Elijah's successor after Elijah was taken up to heaven in a whirlwind, a miracle witnessed by his followers. When they saw that Elijah's spirit was on Elisha, it symbolized the passing of prophetic authority. This marked the start of Elisha's ministry, continuing Elijah's work with signs and miracles. Which king of Judah was healed from a deadly illness and had his life extended by God? A. Hezekiah. B. Manasseh. C. Josiah. D. Ahaz. Correct answer. A. Hezekiah. Verse. Hezekiah prayed to the Lord, wept bitterly, and the word of the Lord came to Isaiah. Go and tell Hezekiah, this is what the Lord, the God of your father David, says. I have heard your prayer and seen your tears. I will add 15 years to your life. 2 Kings 20 verses 5 to 6. King Hezekiah was seriously ill but prayed to God with faith and repentance. God heard his prayers and, through Isaiah, promised to add 15 years to his life. This miracle shows the power of sincere prayer and God's mercy, proving that he answers those who trust him. What was the punishment for Eli and his family because they failed to discipline their sons who dishonored God at the tabernacle? A. They were expelled from the priesthood. B. They all died in battle on the same day. C. They were cursed with leprosy. D. They were taken into exile. Correct answer. B. They all died in battle on the same day. Verse. The days are coming when I will cut off your arm and the arm of your father's house, so that there will be no old man in your family. 1 Samuel 2 verse 31. This will be a sign to you that will happen to your two sons, Hophni and Phinehas. Both will die on the same day. 1 Samuel 2 verse 34. Eli was the high priest and knew his sons Hophni and Phinehas were corrupting the tabernacle service. Yet he didn't discipline them properly. As a result, God declared Eli's priestly line would end and his sons would die on the same day, which happened when Israel lost the ark to the Philistines and both sons died in battle. When Eli heard this, he fell and died too. This story highlights the serious responsibility of spiritual leadership before God. Who was the only female judge of Israel mentioned in the Bible? A. Huldah. B. Deborah. C. Miriam. D. Ruth. Correct answer. B. Deborah. Verse. Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, was judging Israel at that time. Judges 4 verse 4. Deborah was the only woman who served as a judge in Israel. acting as a spiritual leader, advisor, and warrior. God used her to free the people from the oppression of King Jabin of Canaan, and she led, alongside Barak, a major victory against the enemy army commanded by Sisera. Her story inspires faith, courage, and trust in God's guidance. Since you've already made it halfway through, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming challenges. Which book of the Bible is a big collection of songs and prayers? A. Proverbs. B. Psalms. C. Ecclesiastes. D. Song of Songs. Correct answer, B. Psalms. Verse: The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23 verse 1. The book of Psalms is a collection of poems, songs, and prayers that express praise, thanks, repentance, and requests to God. It's often used in worship and personal devotion, showing a wide range of emotions and spiritual experiences. Which king challenged God and was punished by losing his sanity? A. Nebuchadnezzar. B. Pharaoh. C. Herod. D. Belshazzar. Correct answer, A. Nebuchadnezzar. Verse: While the king was still speaking, a voice came from heaven. This is what has been decreed for you, King Nebuchadnezzar. Your royal authority has been taken from you. You will be driven away from people and will live with the wild animals. Daniel 4 verses 31 to 32. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, got full of pride and claimed all the glory for his empire. As punishment, God humbled him by taking away his sanity and making him live like an animal for 7 years. After that time, he acknowledged God's sovereignty and had his sanity and kingdom restored. Who was Jacob's youngest son? A. Joseph. B. Reuben. C. Benjamin. D. Levi. Correct answer, C. Benjamin. Verse: And he named him Benjamin. Genesis 35 verse 18. Benjamin was Jacob's 12th and youngest son, born to his wife Rachel. Rachel died giving birth and initially named the baby Benoni, meaning son of my sorrow, but Jacob renamed him Benjamin, meaning son of my right hand, or son of happiness. He became the ancestor of one of Israel's tribes. Who was the first judge of Israel? A. Samson. B. Gideon. C. Othniel. D. Eli. Correct answer, C. Othniel. Verse: So the Lord raised up a deliverer for Israel, Othniel son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. Judges 3 verse 9. Othniel was Israel's first judge, raised up by God to free the people from enemy king's oppression after Joshua died. He was Caleb's relative and, with God's Spirit helping him, brought peace to Israel for 40 years. His leadership kicked off the judges period, when God raised leaders to guide and protect the nation. What was Ruth's job before becoming part of David's lineage? A. Weaver. B. Shepherdess. C. Gleaner. D. Prophetess. Correct answer, C. Gleaner. Verse: She went out to the fields and began to glean behind the harvesters. Ruth 2 verse 3. Ruth was a Moabite widow who worked gathering leftover grain in Boaz's fields to support herself and her mother-in-law Naomi. Her humility, loyalty, and character stood out, and Boaz married her. Ruth became King David's great-grandmother, joining the Messiah's lineage. What's the main lesson of the book of Ruth? A. The importance of political victories. B. The need for wars to defend faith. C. Faithfulness, redemption, and God's care. D. The obligation to follow strict religious rituals. Correct answer, C. Faithfulness, redemption, and God's care. Verse: Where you go I will go, and where you stay I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Ruth 1 verse 16. The book of Ruth teaches loyalty, faithfulness, and trust in God, even in hard times. Ruth stayed with Naomi after their husbands died and trusted Israel's God. The story also shows Boaz as a redeemer relative, symbolizing God's grace and redemption. This beautiful narrative ends with Ruth in David's genealogy and eventually Jesus. What's one thing Jesus did to teach humility? A. Fasted 40 days in the desert. B. Wrote commandments on stone tablets. C. Washed his disciples' feet. D. Multiplied fish in the sea. Correct answer. C. Washed his disciples' feet. Verse. If I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. John 13 verse 14. Jesus washed his disciples' feet at the Last Supper, a task usually done by servants, to teach humility, service, and love. He showed that greatness in God's kingdom isn't about power, but about serving others with a humble heart. Who helped bury Jesus? A. Simon of Cyrene. B. Peter and John. C. Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus. D. Mary Magdalene and Martha. Correct answer. C. Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus. Verse. Nicodemus brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 75 pounds. Taking Jesus' body, they wrapped it with the spices in linen cloths. John 19 verses 39 to 40. After the crucifixion, Joseph of Arimathea, a secret follower of Jesus, asked Pilate for his body. He and Nicodemus, the Pharisee who once visited Jesus at night, prepared the body with spices and laid it in a new tomb. This act showed courage, respect, and faith during the darkest moment. What did Jesus say about being the salt of the earth? A. We should preserve spiritual food. B. Christians should add flavor and preserve the world through their witness. C. We should stay away from the impure world. D. Only disciples could understand the kingdom's secrets. Correct answer. B. Christians should add flavor and preserve the world through their witness. Verse. You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything, except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. Matthew 5 verse 13. Jesus compared his followers to salt to show they should influence the world with their values, faith, and example. Salt preserves and adds flavor, and Christians should do the same, preserving good, stopping corruption, and making a difference wherever they are. Losing this impact is like salt losing its taste. It no longer serves its purpose. What is love like, according to 1 Corinthians 13? A. Impulsive but sincere. B. Seeks its own interests fairly. C. Patient, kind, and not boastful. D. Blind and careless about consequences. Correct answer. C. Patient, kind, and not boastful. Verse. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. 1 Corinthians 13 verses 4 to 5. In 1 Corinthians 13, Paul describes love as the highest virtue. He teaches that true love is selfless, constant, humble, and forgiving. It reflects Christ's character and should guide all Christian actions and relationships. Congrats on making it to the end of the quiz. The next challenge is waiting for you in the video next door. Click the recommended video, keep testing your knowledge, and dive deeper into the scriptures with us. Leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss what's coming next.